It's Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to my channel. Now let's get into Married at First Sight Reunion Part 1. First up, let me talk about the looks real quick. I loved Brianna's hair and her dress. She looked so cute. I said, okay, her makeup was on point. Loved everything about what Brianna had on. When it came to Miss Haley, I actually liked the red dress that she had on. I thought it was cute. I think Haley actually looked pretty good at the reunion. So I was like, we see you, girl. Okay, next up, I feel like with Clara was simple as she was the entire show. She didn't really give us anything different, to be honest. So I felt like Clara was A-okay. And I felt like the same thing was for Miss Virginia. You know, Miss Virginia was, Virginia. She was giving me a little bit of country, but it worked for her. That's fine. Now, when it came down to Miss Paige, I loved Paige's dress, but I hated her makeup. Her hair was fine. Her makeup, ultimate trash. And I'm like, I don't know if y'all hired makeup artists for the reunion or what happened. I don't know if they do not know how to apply makeup to a deep dark skinned young lady. I don't understand what that was, but her face looked very dry, like she lacked moisture, and I just did not like it, and it really made me feel a way about it because I don't think Paige is an ugly person at all. And I'm like, I wanted to see her kind of glammed up a bit more, but maybe that's just not Paige's style. Maybe Paige doesn't really like that. I don't know. I hated her lashes. I don't know if she likes to get the individual lashes. I'm not really a fan of those, but I don't know if hers were old or what, but I just really felt the way, okay, about Paige's overall makeup look. I thought her dress was nice. I thought her hair was well put together. It was just the ashiness in the makeup for me. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on because I had to speak on that part of the ladies. As far as the guys, I will say Chris looked decent. I don't recall seeing Jacob and Haley because I feel like they didn't do a segment on that, and I may have missed it because I sure don't have any notes on Jacob and Haley. When it came down to Ryan looked okay. The mustache is a bit too much for me, but if Clara likes it, okay then, girl. And when it came down to Eric looked fine. Eric looked like his normal self, except for he was so happy. You could tell that Eric was much more happier at the reunion. So I was like, either they done got it in, honey, or something, or he's really, really happy in his marriage. But either way, you know, Eric definitely looked nice. So we'll go ahead and move on. Eric and Virginia was like the first couple we got to see. They were super happy. They were pretty much, to me, all over each other. They just kept smiling and everything. I was like, okay, like I said, they appear to be very, very happy. Virginia has now moved into the condo. She's living with him now, but they are going to look for a bigger space at a later time. But right now, she's feeling like where they are now is home for her. So she's getting real good. When it comes to Eric is still pressed about them cats. He's learning to deal with the cats, but if he can have it his way, for real, them cats wouldn't even be there. When it comes down to the word controlling, Virginia says that she used the wrong word. She said that she shouldn't have used the word controlling because she feels like that was just Eric's way of actually caring about her. But Eric also said that he could understand where she was coming from when he mentioned certain things like her friends, not wanting her to be around guy friends and all of that, wanting to have control over who she gets the opportunity to hang out with outside of him. He said he could understand why she may feel as though that's a bit controlling, and he has gotten the chance to meet her guy friends, and he says that he actually likes those friends. So okay, all right, it seems like everything is working out between the two of them. His mom comes out, she sit out there and talks about how much she loves Virginia. She opens up about the whole kids factor because Virginia is saying that, you know, if he wants to have kids, she's open to it. She's not rushing to it, because at one point she was like, absolutely not. But she's not rushing to have kids, but she's at a place where she's more open to it. The mom wants them to have grandkids because she recently had open heart surgery, but she's also saying that she understands that they have to live their life really for them and what works for their relationship. So she doesn't want to put pressure on them for real, but she would love for them to have them babies. So hopefully with Eric and Virginia being as happy as they want us to believe that they are, you know, hopefully hopefully they will get to a point where they are able to have children, and Eric's mom is there to be able to share in that experience, okay? So kudos to them, honey. We finna go ahead and move on to somebody else. So we get to Ryan and Clara. Ryan and Clara are very interesting. Clara, of course, likes to play the role as though everything is going great between them. Everything's perfect, everything's good, it's all great. And I'm over here like, Clara, I don't believe you. You need more people because of how you've shown yourself up to be in the past, okay? Acting like everything is perfect when it wasn't. As the host is continuing to probe and ask questions, we see that they do have some things that they need to work out, and everything really isn't as perfect. But they made sure to let us know that they are getting remarried. But Ryan says that he wants people to know that he's getting remarried because Ryan goes on to let people know that the reason they're getting remarried is to prove the naysayers wrong, or something like that. The naysayers wrong, that the people that didn't think they would last, to let them know that they're gonna last. So it's like, baby, you could get married multiple times and stuff, but that don't mean that y'all fully gonna last. I mean, it's only been like, what, a year, a few months or something like that, honey. But I guess, nah, y'all need to get married for y'all. Get remarried for y'all. Don't worry about us over here, honey, because we about to move on to the next set of married at first sight couples. We not really gonna be too focused on y'all, but it would be cute to get an update every now and then. But yeah, y'all go ahead and get remarried. And I found that to be very, very interesting that they're getting remarried, but Ryan has yet to tell her that he loved her. And had it not been for the host probing again, asking questions, and Ryan trying to talk around the fact that he hasn't told her he loved her, and the reason why he hasn't told her such, you know, the host is like, you're getting remarried, dude. You mean to tell me you're about to walk down this aisle yet again with this young lady and you have yet to tell her that you love her? But Clara's sitting up there like, oh no, it's fine. It's okay. You know, he's never told me he loved me, but I could tell in the way that he operates with me. You know, I really can tell, you know, it's just the little things that he does, you know, putting gas in my car, you know, picking this up for me. It's just little things like that that makes me believe that he does love me. So he never has to say it, ever. And all of his actions every single time will make me believe that he loves me, and I'm okay with that. And I'm like, Clara, shut up, girl. Shut up. Okay, so again, he finally says it, he finally admits it, looks at her and says it, and you can tell he kind of felt like relief with saying it. It's like, dang, what was going on with you internally that you was holding on so tight to telling this woman that you loved her? I was like, oh, okay then, okay. So he finally came out and said it. She looked shocked and surprised. She was super happy about that. The conversation came up about him being a virgin. He says that he was never a virgin. Then he says, hi, mom. So I don't know what image his mom has of him, but now we kind of see why he wasn't being so open about talking about sex and stuff based on how his parents may look at him on TV or whatever. So that's what he was holding back, which is probably the reason why Miss Clara wasn't getting her none while these cameras and stuff was around, because he probably didn't trust that she would actually keep that info to herself and not go out and tell people and talk to the cameras and stuff. So it seems like Ryan had a little image or whatever that he wanted to protect, but okay. Now, when it came down to Ryan seeing the tape of Clara actually going into her friends about it, he said he wasn't upset and he's not going to tell her how to feel or how to vent because she was upset in that moment, and he completely understood where she was coming from. And I could appreciate that, instead of trying to make her seem like she was at fault or anything, like accepting that she's angry, accepting that she's unhappy. And he said that, you know, he hated that he was the cause of her feeling the way that she felt. And I was like, interesting, shocking. I wasn't expecting that from you, sir. But I can take it. I appreciate that, you know, accepting your fault in things. So I'm like, okay, maybe their relationship isn't as bad as one may think. Maybe it is probably a good relationship. I don't believe it's perfect, as no relationship is, Miss Clara, but I think that their relationship may be better than what we have gotten the opportunity to see. So they're happily married. They're gonna stay married. They're gonna get remarried. So either way, honey, good luck. Let's move on. Brianna and Vincent, they appear to be super happy with each other, as they were already super happy with each other throughout the season. One of my favorite couples, I must say, okay? Hey, Brianna. Hey, Vincent. Vincent is very handsome, and he has a beautiful wife. I was like, look at Vincent with his waves and stuff like that, looking like a black man, knowing you a whole Dominican or whatever. Like, girl, I see you, Mr. Vincent, honey. Okay, but he looked really good. They looked great together. They're super happy. They moved in together. They've talked about going back to the Dominican Republic, and they also mentioned getting a condo. So I'm like, okay, are you guys gonna buy a condo in the Dominican Republic? What's happening there? They have moved in with each other. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. They've moved in with each other. They've created space. Vincent has had to put his clothes in an actual pantry, which is hilarious. They are looking to expand and get like a larger space. And Brianna is actually starting to have more thoughts about having children. And I was like, this is really good. They had babysat his nephew for one of his family members, and it was like she just had baby fever. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that is going to go for them. Now, they're not rushing it, but Brianna said whatever happens, happens at this point. At first, she was like, no, maybe 2 to 3 years from now, you know, but now she's like, you know what? It's whatever. I'm happy with whatever we decide to do. And I like to see that, honey. Brianna says that she's gotten to a place where she's learned to accept things aren't always going to be perfect. And that's okay. And they both talk about how they've learned to really compromise with each other, especially with them moving into each other's space and being around each other like all the time. They're really, you know, working on compromising with each other. Now, we got to see a few flashbacks of Vincent and how he was acting out here in these streets when things wasn't going his way. Okay, and putting Miss Brianna through stress. But he opened up and manned up and said, I was having anxiety. Like, I know millions of people were going to be watching me, and I was really, really worried and caring about what they thought of me and what they had to say. So when things weren't going right for me, you know, I already had anxiety, and that just heightened it. He also goes on to say that, you know, even though he has those moments, he's so happy to have Brianna by his side, because he knows that even when he's going through those phases, she's always going to be there for him, which is great. So I'm happy about that. I'm like, okay, so we see you growing up in husbandhood. We see you growing up and allowing your wife to be supportive and allowing your wife to be there for you when you are going through these particular phases. And I just appreciate the fact that he accepted fault on his own actions and how he overreacted about certain things. And it had nothing to do with Brianna, but more so to do with himself. And I'm like, yeah, they're gonna have, for the most part, I want to believe, a pretty good marriage, you know, as long as they're able to call themselves out on their wrongs and not just calling out the other person, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that, without taking self-reflection on themselves. So I'm excited for Brianna and Vincent. Like I said, I don't remember Haley and Jacob in this first part 1. I don't remember seeing them, but I did see when all of the ladies actually came together to have a quick chit chat with the host. Now, all of the ladies are still good friends. You know, they even went out of the country or whatever. They went on a trip. They hung out with each other. Now, the one person that could not make it, I believe, was Clara. Clara was one of the people that could not make it. And of course, Clara is like a flight attendant, so she probably wasn't going to be able to make that one. But all of the other ladies went. They're working on planning something now so they can all come together. We saw when a question was asked about whether the ladies brought lingerie. Of course, Paige opened up and said that she brought lingerie. Miss God Almighty, Miss God this, Miss God that, definitely had some lingerie ready for her husband. Okay, I will say this. Based on how Paige presents herself on the show versus how she is when she's relaxed with her friends, showing us the true Paige, showing us the Paige without a certain type of tone of voice or accent or whatever, I like that Paige better. That Paige that seems down to earth instead of a Paige trying to make sure she say all of the right things or something. I'm not sure what it was, but I noticed a difference in how she was laid back with the girls versus how she presents herself on TV. So I'm like, I like that Paige. Bring us more of her. Now, Clara is asked about the sex capades with her and Ryan and stuff, and how he didn't want her to talk about it, but she's saying now she feels like he brings it up more than she does. And I forgot to mention that when I spoke on Ryan and Clara's segment, they did not admit that they've crossed the line and consummated the marriage, but I do believe that they have. Okay, now Haley is asked about the situation between she and Jacob and whether or not after having sex with him, because they did consummate the marriage, if that was so bad, which is the reason why she pulled all the way back from him. She didn't really want to speak on it, but we all could pretty much go figure and know exactly what it is. She did not enjoy that moment with him. She did not enjoy the intimacy. You know, she said she was trying to find the attraction somewhere, and she felt as though if we cross this line, maybe I'll be attracted to the DIC, which would make me be more attracted to him. And that was not the case for her at all. Okay, so they had to just go ahead and jump over that subject and not talk about it. But quite a few of the ladies from the beginning said that they believed that they weren't gonna make it anyway. Haley and Jacob, like, they just didn't see the connection themselves, and how it turned out is exactly how they thought it would. Now, what frustrated Haley with Jacob was the fact that she felt as though she was always the person that made the first move with their situation. In addition to that, she also said that she has not spoken to this man, hasn't had a conversation with him or anything since the decision day. And she says that he's blocked her on all social media platforms, Sadie. So he ain't trying to have nothing to do with Miss Thing. So of course, finally they speak on Paige and Chris and how they wish that Paige would have been left him a long time ago instead of allowing him to string her along, and saying that the fault isn't always on her, you know, it's on him because he too continued to come back and continue to manipulate her and get her into this situation all over again. And I agree, like, yeah, that's true, but I fault both of them in my opinion. It's not just on one person, not just Chris or anything. I feel like it's both of them. Okay, Paige not dumb. Paige know what she doing, and obviously she's okay with that. In my book, Paige is not a victim. I'm sorry. She see that man for what it is. She's intelligent, she's smart, she know what it is, and all of that, but she continued to allow herself to go through that. So it's kind of like, girl, I'm gonna fault you on some of this too. Now, Paige and Chris segment comes up, and he says that he and Paige have actually tried counseling because they were trying to reconcile with each other. And I said, okay, interesting. Like I told y'all in the last episode, when it came down to Paige and Chris, and Paige said that she didn't want to be with him no more, and they walked out, I said he still smashed though, okay? Because Chris may be one of them ain't dudes, but got some good DIC, honey, okay? So I think that's probably one of the things that had Miss Paige hooked. She probably enjoyed that D. Okay, so they talk about they went to counseling trying to reconcile and get everything back on track. He gonna go on to say that, you know, I feel as though I was too immature. I was too immature and I did not deserve a woman like Paige in my life. She's actually too good for me. So I should have never put myself in such a position, nor her in a position, for me to do those things that I did to her, because I am an immature man that needs to get all of my stuff together before I come to her correct. And I was like, Chris, shut up. Shut up. Paige is showing a video. Okay, they show us a flashback of when Chris sat up there and said that he was not attracted to Paige's face. And I'm like, whoo, honey, I don't know which one's worse. Him saying that he's not attracted to your face, or us actually seeing his face and hearing him say, oh shit, when she was walking down the aisle. He is like a weirdo. But of course, that hurt Paige. Paige said that hurts to hear somebody say that they're not, you know, attracted to you, because no woman wants to hear that from their mate, you know, their soon-to-be husband, whatever, or their current husband. Like, nobody wants to hear that they're not attracted to their face. And then I'm kind of like, he act like we actually interested in his face. Who told you that your face was worthy of any approval? Who told you that? And you want to sit up here and talk about somebody else's face? And that right there for me let me know that he got into this whole married at first sight thing for the wrong reasons. But okay. I mean, everybody wants something pretty that they could look at, but I don't think that she's ugly, you know? But I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder, honey. He was beholding it at that time. Those were his eyes, and he felt as though he was not, you know, physically attracted to her. But okay, honey. Chris talking about he repents. After saying what he said about Paige and not being attracted to her, he says that he repents for his actions, and he's asked for forgiveness from everybody. He even apologized to her mom, her dad, and her stepdad for talking to her in the manner, or talking about her in the manner in which he did. They also bring up the situation about sex. Like, well, if you weren't attracted to her, why would you continue to have sex? Okay, Paige, with you knowing and understanding everything that this man has put you through, why would you continue to have sex with this man? Chris looked at her like, oh no, not that talk, like trying to hint to her to not talk about it. And she was like, oh yeah, I don't want to talk about that. You know, I really don't want to put my sex life on display or anything like that, you know, because I have values. And the way my God is set up, he would not want me to talk about that on TV. right? Did I say it right? I said it right. Okay. And I just feel like we should move on from that. Right? I don't want to talk about that anymore. And I'm like, girl, again, you sitting on this couch allowing this man to manipulate you. Girl, just talk about it. It's your story, honey. You was humping and bumping. Okay? You was humping and bumping on a man that wasn't even attracted to you. You should have turned around and said, well, let me direct that question to him. Give me 1 second. Why would you continue to want to engage in sexual activity with me when you just blatantly said that you weren't attracted? Why did you jump to the opportunity to kiss me when we were down the aisle? What was that about? Okay? Tell me. But truth be told, he really didn't want to kiss her at the thing. He gonna stand up there and ask her, do you want me to kiss you? What do you think? What do you think? He really didn't want to, child. I think he saw Paige's body and was like, okay, she got a little booty on her or something like that. I could work with that, you know what I'm saying? I'm a smash and that's it. Straight alpha boy activity. Let's move on. So Chris is asked about Mercedes and whether or not he was in love with Mercedes at the time, you know, when she got pregnant and stuff. And he was like, well, I don't want to answer that question because, you know, I feel like that's unfair to Paige. I don't want to answer that question. Let's just leave that in the past. And it's like, boy, see, this is why Chris will continue to have issues no matter how much he shows up and says, oh, I repent, oh, I'm sorry, and all this other stuff. The fact that he doesn't want to address things that has happened in his past, in his life, or whatever, when these questions are coming up, he ain't gonna get nowhere. He gonna be the same Chris, in my opinion. He gonna be the same Chris, like you came on this show, you agreed to open up about certain things, and then now you don't want to answer the question. Hell, you could have lied. You could have said, no, I was not in love with Mercedes. I definitely still had love for her, but you know, I didn't. So the fact that you would sit up there and be like, I feel like that's disrespectful, like I'm not gonna answer that, that's in the past or whatever, that was you letting us know that yes, you were still in love with this lady, but you brought your ass onto this show, and you thought that you was gonna get a woman that looked way better than Mercedes or whatever you were thinking, so that you can kind of throw that in Mercedes' face and flex on her. That's what you was trying to do, okay? And obviously, I guess it didn't work out for you in the way that you thought that it was going to work out. And here we are, honey. So the host brings up to Chris, like, you know, what was that about? Why would you get Mercedes a Mercedes? Like, what was that about? Why would you do that? And Chris didn't want to answer that question. When it comes to Mercedes, he protects her so much, it's ridiculous, okay? This ain't even your wife or anything like that. You ain't even trying to, quote unquote, be with this girl, but you protect her so much. And Paige, you need to take heed. It shouldn't be no reconciliation or anything like that. You need to take heed, because he's over here protecting the whole Mercedes woman, okay? So when the question came up about him buying her that particular car, Chris gonna say, man, a car is a car. And I'm looking like, a car is a car, but you went and got her a Mercedes though, okay? You went and got her a Mercedes though. That's not no cheap car. Mr. A car is a car. If a car is a car, you should have got her as a Honda, okay? Should have got her, it's a Nissan, okay? Should have got her a Ford, a Buick. Hello? But you ain't want to do none of that. You went and got her a Mercedes so you can feel like you flexing. And if those aren't the actions of a man that really is in love, I don't know what is. Y'all not gonna tell me nothing different at all. It was more than just her carrying his child. That's who he really would have rather have been with. But anyway, honey. So the host brings up the sit down that Pastor Dwight had with Paige and how he was giving his viewpoints on Mercedes and how he's known Chris and how he thinks Paige is such a good woman. And if Chris goes in the opposite direction, he's going to be looking back on this moment and wishing that he would have chose Paige and all this other stuff. Chris did not like that for many reasons. Number one, actually, was the reason that he down talked Mercedes. Once again, protecting Mercedes, defending Mercedes before he defends you. Saying he didn't like that he was talking down Mercedes to try and build up Paige. Well, you ain't building her up. Okay? But then what's underneath that, truthfully, is the fact that he didn't like that another man did come along and start building up a woman that he was putting down, and he was over there manipulating, and somebody that he felt he could play with and pick up and put down whenever he wanted to. He didn't really like that type of energy, especially for it to be his fine ass friend. Hello? That's what he didn't really like. So anywho, He said he didn't like that about the pastor putting down Mercedes for Paige or whatever. My belief is that he didn't like another man building her up, another fine ass man. And then the other thing is the fact that he felt as though the pastor did not hit him up prior to meeting with his wife. He was like, if you're gonna meet with somebody's wife, then you need to call the husband and at least have something to say, talk to me. And it's like, no, not necessarily. I understand that y'all are friends, you know, and maybe out of courtesy as a friend, he could have hit you up. But if she's meeting up with him as a pastor, then do she really got to hit you up and tell you she needed somebody to confide in? That man is married. Okay, she didn't think it was an issue for her to sit down and get some advice about you or whatever, or her situation of what she got going on. But okay, Chris was so upset with that. He was so mad about that he wanted to throw hands with the pastor. Girl, no he didn't, but the pastor walked out there looking as good as he wanted to look, honey, because that was the best dressed man at the reunion. But I ain't gonna lie, he still give me Pastor F-boy. I'm not gonna lie, you can be married with 2 children and all that all you want to. Okay, but I'm like, I won't be surprised if some years from now we hear a scandal about this man. Now, I don't want to hear one because I want to believe that there are good men out here. Hear what it is that I say, okay? But that pastor is fine, and I know he be getting tried up and down. Do you hear me? But we're going to go ahead and move on, honey. Pastor Dwight came out there, sat down. He told Chris, he was just like, listen, you know, I've always come to you to give you advice. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to look out for you. I'm here to be like, give you guidance, spiritual guidance, all of that. But when you're not receptive and open to receive what it is that I'm trying to give to you, then at that moment, baby, I gotta fall back, okay? Because you're not even trying to hear. I'm wasting my time, my breath, and everything. I don't have that type of time. I don't have that type of time to waste on you. So I'm gonna go ahead and fall back, and when you're ready, you let me know. Chris wanted all of the smoke when he said that. Chris was like, I feel like everything he's saying is BS. And that's when he went on to talk about him building up Paige and down talking Mercedes or whatever. And Pastor Dwight said, well, let me say this real quick, okay? Here's the issue with Chris. Chris don't like mother correction. Okay, I said, you better speak on it, Pastor. Speak on it today. Wow. Okay, take your time. Take your time, Pastor. Take your time, honey. Take your time. Go on and go in. Go on and go in. Chris don't like correction. Chris don't like to hear about himself, okay? All that slow talk Chris be doing, all that slow talk, well, I was not the type of man that she needed me to be. She is too good for me. All of that slow ass talk he be doing, it's like, baby, he's trying to come up with his next lie. Because the way he was going in on the pastor ready to fight, them words was flying out like boop, 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 boop. So, baby, cut it out, okay? I can't stand to hear him talk with that frog in his throat, okay? With that dry frog in his throat. I can't stand to hear him talk, especially when he's talking all slow, trying to come up, put his lies together. I can't stand it. Can't stand him. Now, Paige was just sitting there for a minute till the host told Paige calm him down. And I'm like, no, don't tell that woman to stand in between 2 men to calm these men down. Hell no. How about y'all go and get some security? Y'all knew how that boy felt about the pastor. Y'all knew he did not want to engage with the pastor. Yet y'all chose to still bring that pastor there. Okay? That's what y'all chose to do. So y'all should have also chose to have security or some male staff members to be on hand to make sure nothing goes down. But to put that woman in the middle of that and trying to make her calm these 2 men down, especially Chris, no. I think Paige was doing what needed to had been done when she sat up there and she let them argue, because that ain't got to do with her. That's his issue. I'm gonna sit here, and I really wish she would have got up and walked off in that moment and not been in the middle of them too. But don't tell her to get in the middle and try and protect them. I ain't really like that. I'm like, where y'all security at? He's talking about, Paige, can you calm him down? Paige has done enough of running behind this mother, trying to get him to calm down, trying to get him to hear her. No. Okay, if he wanna run up on the pastor and get his ass whooped, then let him get this Jesus whooping. Let him. What do you mean? Chris gets heated, gets all upset, storms out, tells the pastor he wants to smoke. And he says, I want you to meet me out here in this MF parking lot, and we can really get it in whichever way you want to. And the pastor was just like, I'm not hearing that little boy. Okay, because he had already told Chris, he said, let me tell you what you're not gonna do. You're not gonna sit up here and disrespect me because I ain't disrespect you. I said, come on, pastor. Come on, get him together. I was here for Pastor Dwight, honey. I was definitely here for him. I want to hear what y'all have to say about this whole reunion part 1 of Married at First Sight. Hop down in them comments and leave your thoughts below, okay? I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, okay? And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.